Welcome to the 59th meeting of the Civil Rights Council. The meeting is called to order. Ms. Ellie Sadler, Senior Counsel, will conduct roll call.
Chair Garcia,
Here, present.
Councilmember Glader,
Present.
Councilmember Hong,
Present.
Director Kish,
Present.
Councilmember Chan, and Councilmember Walensky. Present.
Mr. Kish, is anybody with you in your room during this meeting?
No one is with me in this room.
Thank you. Welcome. I would like to thank the stakeholders for attending the Civil Rights Council meeting today. This meeting is being webcast live via Zoom video conference. And the video of this meeting will also be available afterwards on the Civil Rights Council's website at https://calcivilrights.ca.gov/civilrightscouncil/ and the Civil Rights Department's YouTube channel. Please subscribe. We also have closed captioning available for participants who can find a button at the bottom of the Zoom bar features. If you're having difficulty accessing closed caption, you can send an email to the administrator to resolve the issue at council@calcivilrights.ca.gov. Members of the public joining remotely may have noticed that you're currently muted and your video is disabled at this time. Please note that the Q&A and chat functions are also disabled. However, please be advised that there will be opportunities for the public comment and participation throughout today's meeting. At the end of the agenda item, each agenda item, we will ask if there's any public comment. In the interest of time, we will limit comments to 3 minutes each. We also ask that the comments address a specific agenda item. If your comment does not address a specific agenda item, we request that you share your comments at the end of the meeting. We have a number of ways for you to provide input and comments. First, you can email the council at council@calcivilrights.ca.gov. We will be checking this email account throughout today's meeting. And your comments will be read aloud and or summarized and considered by the council members today. Second, if you would like to speak directly rather than through an email, please click raise hand in Zoom or press *9 if you have called in. If you would like to rename yourself in the Zoom list of participants, you can find yourself on the list and click rename in the list of options next to your name. We'd also like to acknowledge the Civil Rights Department staff joining us today. Adam Romero, Deputy Director of Executive Programs, Rachel Langston, Assistant Chief Counsel, and Marielle Block, Paige Lee, and Ellie Sadler, Senior Counsels. As well, I would like to thank everyone who's attending today. We look forward to your participation throughout today's meeting. The next agenda item is a review of the agenda. The agenda and meeting materials can be accessed at the council website at calcivilrights.ca.gov/civilrightscouncil/. The agenda today includes approval of the minutes of the last meeting of October 17, 2024, council member reports, the Civil Rights Department report, and council acknowledgements, consideration of the second modified text and proposed modifications to employment regulations regarding automated decision systems, subcommittee updates, and last, public comment on any item not mentioned on the agenda. We'll now move to agenda item number 4, approval of the minutes. The first order of business is the approval of minutes for October 17th, 2024 meeting of the Civil Rights Council, which can be found in attachment A. Do we have any council members' comments or edits regarding the minutes from our last meeting? Hearing none, I'll ask if we have any public comments regarding the minutes.
No public comments in person.
Do you have any public comments?
None of it.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the minute this time?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Chair Garcia,
Aye.
Councilmember Alude. Councilmember Wilens.
I don't think Alude is.
Oh,
on council.
sorry. My apologies. One moment. Councilmember Glader,
Aye.
Councilmember Hong,
Aye.
Director Kish, and Councilmember Wilensky. Aye.
Just a reminder that I am a non-voting member of the body.
Was gonna point that out. Okay, with that clarification, the minutes are approved. We'll now move on to the next order of business is the council members' reports. Do we have any reports from the council members? Having no response. We'll then move on to item number 6 of the agenda. The Civil Rights Department report and council acknowledgements. I will turn this portion of the agenda to Director Kish for the report and acknowledgements.
Thank you, Chair Garcia. Hello, everyone. I just wanted to take a few minutes at this meeting today to publicly thank Councilmember Alude. For members of the public who don't already know, there is a reason why Councilmember Alude did not vote in the last roll call. It's because her term ended and she has decided to step down from the council effective December 31st, 2024. So we have pulled her back in to this public forum just to offer, excuse me, some heartfelt thanks for the extraordinary work that you have done with the other council members. Adetunji was appointed in 2020. This is COVID era. We are remote. We remain hybrid, as you can see to this day. And you approached that challenge, Adetunji, with such grace and patience and calm and fellow feeling for what everybody was going through. Thank you. And you also brought your very careful and experienced legal mind to the work of this body, for which I will be eternally grateful. Among the many projects that Councilmember Alude worked on was, along with Councilmember Wilensky, shepherding the final stages of the historic Government Code 11135 regulations prohibiting discrimination in all government-funded activities and programs across that finish line and into the California Code of Regulations. She's worked on many other projects, including projects involving bereavement leave and reproductive loss leave that are still in the works. And it's been a personal pleasure and honor to work with you, and I would like to publicly thank you. So if you would like to say a few words, and you do not have to, but if you would like to, I would turn it over to you now.
Thank you. It's been an honor to do this work for Californians and to work with such a great team. And I've really appreciated the engagement of the public in us trying to do this very difficult task. Everyone's efforts have made my experience just really memorable, and really pleased to have been able to do the work. Thanks.
Thank you so much again. We will miss you, but you are with us and you are not going anywhere. So we will continue to talk to you as the years go by. The only other update that I wanted to offer this group and the public is that we're in a moment of a great deal of uncertainty when it comes to federal enforcement of civil rights. And I just want to offer a note of stability and continuity. that our department continues to receive, investigate, mediate, and when appropriate, litigate civil rights disputes that are brought to our attention. We recently expanded our public webinar offerings, our public trainings, both live trainings and trainings that you can access on demand on our YouTube channel. We're excited to keep increasing what we offer to the public to help Californians understand what their civil rights are and help California businesses and landlords and employers understand how to comply with those legal obligations. So please check out our outreach and education page for expanded educational offerings as we enter 2025. There are many other new initiatives. Please sign up for our newsletter, but one of them that I will flag very briefly is a brand new guidance on the protections of the Unruh Civil Rights Act. This is protecting Californians from discrimination in all forms of businesses. This new resource is available on our website. It's available in our resources page. It's available on our education and outreach page. And it's a wonderfully useful, in my view, overview of what the law protects and does not protect, and provides some concrete guidance for folks in complying with this area of law. So I want to thank the team and Adam for their hard work on that over a number of months. And please check out those resources. Those are all the updates I was going to share, but why don't I turn it over briefly to Adam to see if there's anything that I missed.
I think that covers it. Yeah.
Thank you for that report. And I too would like to acknowledge the comments about Olude. It's a real pleasure working with you. I really enjoyed it. Although it was a very brief period of time, I wish I had more time to work with you. So thank you so much for that. I'll ask if we have any public comments regarding the director's report and acknowledgements. I'd like to remind everyone that there's an opportunity to provide public comments at the end of the meeting about the items not on the agenda.
No public comments in person.
None over email. None over Zoom.
And I guess we'll move on to the next item on the agenda at this time, which is item number 7. We'll hear from the Algorithms and Bias Subcommittee, Council Members Hong and Glader, regarding the modified text of proposed modifications to employment regulations regarding automated systems.
Thank you, Chair Garcia. So Councilmember Glader and I are introducing the second modified text of the proposed modifications to the employment regulations regarding automated decision systems, with the request that the council approve the modifications included in attachment B and move this version of the modifications into the second 15-day public comment period. First, the subcommittee would like to thank Rachel Langston and Ali Sadler for taking on the incredible hard work of this very busy subcommittee with many versions and public comments to sift through and to review. So they have been incredibly and tirelessly researching and sifting and just really guiding this process for us. And so we want to really acknowledge them publicly for all that. Of course, we want to thank the public who have submitted many comments during the last public comment period regarding this first modified text of the proposed regulations. For additional context, I want to explain where we are and what we're asking from the council. So where are we in the rulemaking process? The initial text of the proposed modifications were published on May 17th, 2024, along with the notice commencing the 45-day public comment period. A public hearing was held on July 18th, 2024, and on October 17th, this council approved the first modified text for a 15-day comment period. Based on some of the comments, we extended that to 30 days. That public comment period was, for the first modified text was closed on November 18th. The council, as I mentioned, received numerous public comments in response to the first modified text. And so today, the subcommittee proposes a second modified text of those proposed modifications. Now, if the council approves the second modified text today, our next steps under the Administrative Procedure Act is to make a public comment period of at least 15 days regarding the proposed modifications of the second modified text. So clear, so clear. So when the rulemaking process is complete, there'll be a summary of all the responses to the comments that will be provided in the final statement of reasons. And with that, I'll pass it over to Jonathan.
Thank you, Councilmember Hong. We direct the council and the public to the second modified text of the proposed modifications, which are attachment B to today's agenda, B as in boy. In the interest of time, we will not review all of the proposed changes, but we will highlight some of the proposed modifications. These modifications were in response to extensive public comment. We also made modifications to enhance clarity and consistency of the proposed regulations. And again, we thank the staff for their thoughtful engagement with the volume of public comments. The subcommittee's proposed modifications include striking the proposed definition of adverse impact and further modifying the proposed definitions for agent, proxy, automated decision system, and automated decision system data. This second modified text also includes proposed modifications to section 11013 regarding record keeping, 11016 regarding the use of automated decision systems in pre-employment practices, 11020 regarding aiding and abetting liability, 11071 regarding medical or psychological examinations, and 11072 regarding qualification standards, tests, and other selection criteria. The second modified text also proposes to strike previously proposed language in section 11017.1 regarding the duty of an employer to provide certain types of information to a job applicant when the employer's decision to withdraw a conditional job offer because of the applicant's conviction history relied on the use of an automated decision system. The subcommittee also proposes to add language clarifying that not only evidence, but also the lack of evidence of anti-bias testing and similar proactive efforts to avoid unlawful discrimination may be relevant to a claim or defense regarding an employer or other covered entity's use of an automated decision system or selection criteria that discriminates against an applicant or employee. We welcome comments from members of the public today, but because we are not yet in a formal comment period, we ask that anyone providing comment today resubmit their comment once the second 15-day public comment period has actually been noticed in order for the comment to be included in the formal rulemaking record. Please also limit comments to any new proposed modifications set forth in the second modified text. So today we ask for the council's vote to approve the publication of the second modified text for consideration in the second 15-day comment period for these proposed regulations.
Thank you for those comments. Do we have any council member comments regarding the second modified text of proposed modification from regulations regarding automated decision systems? Seeing none. Before I open the floor for public comments regarding the second modified text of proposed modifications to implement regulations regarding automated decision systems, I want to remind everyone that we are not currently in an open comment period. Accordingly, any comments made today or any written comments sent to the council before or during this meeting must be resubmitted once the next comment period is officially noticed in order to be considered by the council as part of the formal rulemaking file. Do we have any public comments in person regarding the second modified text?
No public comments in person.
None over email?
We have a couple on Zoom. Ken Wayne. I just unmuted you.
Good morning, council member and staff. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you to the council for this revised version. We'd like to especially thank the council for making changes that were responsive to our previous public comment. My name is Ken Wang, representing the California Employment Lawyers Association. We are especially appreciative of the elimination of the definition of adverse impact and also the clarification that the lack of proactive anti-bias testing may be relevant evidence when examining the use of ADS tools. But the new proposal still presents several areas of major concern for us. First, kind of the elimination of the definition of adverse impact is a good move, but the council is proposing to reserve sub A for future rulemaking, it seems. I want to seek clarification about kind of the move to reserve that section because I believe it sends a confusing signal and causes uncertainty about the settled definition of adverse impact, which is defined elsewhere in the regulations, also in case law, and used in things like jury instructions already. If the council intends to engage in a separate rulemaking process to define adverse impact, I believe it's better to leave it as is and renumber the section in that separate process rather than introducing ambiguity as to the position the council wishes to take on the definition of adverse impact. Second is the revised definition of agent. I think the elimination of the examples seems to suggest that ADS developers are not included as agents. We believe the council's original proposal, which is now struck, was carefully drafted and already quite circumscribed. Under existing law, it is true that an agent may include, in appropriate circumstances, a developer of an ADS system that is used by an employer or used by a third party on behalf of an employer. So striking that example seems to send the signal that the council does not believe ADS developers are included as agents in any circumstance, which cannot possibly be true. So, I don't believe that there is any harm in listing example, especially given that clarity of coverage for developers is a major issue for, companies that are developing these tools without any regard to their obligations under FEHA, and that we ought to incentivize them to take a close look for their obligations under FEHA when they're designing their tools, and listing the example is a good way to do that. The third thing I would like to mention is the striking in the section concerning the withdrawal of conditional offers. We're wondering why the proposed section requiring employer disclosure of ADS system used to kind of withdraw a conditional offer was struck. If the council believes that other provisions of the regulation already covers that kind of information, we would encourage the council to clarify. But otherwise, I do think it's important for potential applicants to understand when ADS system is being used.
I hate to cut you off, but I think your time's up. I really appreciate your comments. Thank you so much. Any other public comments?
Yes, Ashley Hoffman.
Ashley Hoffman.
Hello, good morning. Ashley Hoffman on behalf of the California Chamber of Commerce. I want to thank the council for taking time to review this important rulemaking and to take into consideration some of our comments. I want to join my colleague from the Employment Lawyers Association, thanking the council for the removal of the definition of adverse impact. From our perspective, I think that's a little bit cleaner, just given some of the established law on this issue. I also want to join my colleague in just asking about the indication of the reserve language in the draft, and so hope for some clarity on that. We are still reviewing the remainder of the changes, including the revised definition of agent. I do believe we also had suggested to strike that definition just in light of existing case law already on the issue, so we will look at that further. I did also just want to ask, I know last time the council was very gracious in allowing a 30-day comment period rather than 15, just in light of the recent start of the legislative session and the fact that we know some bills may be introduced addressing issues similar to this, and so taking some of that potentially into consideration, asking to see if there'd be a willingness to also have a longer than 15-day comment period this time. Thank you.
So much, Ms. Hoffman. Any other comments?
Tara Sully.
Good
Hello,
morning.
thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Thank you. I'd like to join the previous two commenters in thanking the council for providing this opportunity to discuss these actions. I am here on behalf of myself and users of the public. I actually would like to disagree with the previous two commenters. I was happy to see the reserved language when it came to reinforcing adverse action or adverse impact, excuse me, because I think in today's political climate, it is very important to reinforce those definitions as frequently as possible when it comes to the way that our state approaches these kinds of decision-making systems, particularly given how new they are in the workforce and in daily life. There's fairly well documented evidence that many of these decision-making systems have biases built into their frameworks. And so the ability to continue to understand the way those biases can impact employment decisions, I think is very important. I also have questions about removing the definition of developers from the definition of an agent. I would like to see that defined somewhere else within the statute, because if we can't hold accountability for the people who are designing these systems, then it's going to be very difficult to hold accountability for any of the impacts down the line because those impacts are not yet clear. I think it's important to, if it's not part of the initial agent definition, to define those actors somewhere else within this text. And finally, I actually also would like to disagree. I think the struck text regarding the decision to withdraw conditionally offered positions, use of an automated decision system, I think striking that text creates an opportunity again to avoid accountability. What's the point of regulating these systems if there's no accountability for the people who use them and the people who design them? So again, I'd like to thank the council for the opportunity to speak. And again, I'm here on behalf of myself.
Thank you so much. Any other comments?
Yes, Tim Newman.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. My name is Tim Newman. I'm sharing these comments on behalf of Tech Equity. Thank you, as the previous speakers also shared, for your work on this topic. At Tech Equity, we envision a world where the tech industry is responsible for building widespread economic prosperity and is held accountable for economic harms it creates in our communities. And we believe that AI, automated decision-making tools, and other digital technologies represent one of the most important issues that will shape the economic opportunity for workers in California. We continue to appreciate the council's efforts to improve and enhance the existing regulations under FEHA and to clarify the coverage of existing law over emerging technologies in order to mitigate the risk of discrimination. We view these proposed modifications as a positive step to reach that goal. Throughout the council's consideration of these modifications, we've joined with other organizations, including the California Employment Lawyers Association, providing feedback on ways to strengthen the regulations. And we're pleased to see several of the recommendations we have provided have been incorporated. We would refer you again to our letters submitted in July and November of 2024 for a detailed explanation of our proposed improvements. And we do think a handful of further revisions in the second modified version would be beneficial. First, we recommend aligning the definition of ADS with legislative language like 2024's SB 892. Second, the modifications, I'd just like to agree with what's been shared previously by speakers, that they should make clear the role and liability of developers and third parties. We're concerned that the current version removes language referring to the liability of third-party developers of ADS in the definition of agent. This could pose a loophole to accountability, and it also is not responsive to the way in which technology operates on the ground, with potential harms to working people. For example, in cases of hiring, a large market of tech vendors offer off-the-shelf assessment tools that filter candidates and access to opportunity. Employers may be deploying tools developed by companies who argue that the algorithms have been developed are proprietary. Developers need to also be held accountable and operate with transparency under these proposed modified regulations. And then we'll follow up if the formal rulemaking proceeds with additional recommendations related to the previous letters we've submitted. So yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity to comment today, and to the council members and your staff for your hard work on these important regulations.
Thank you for your comments. Any other public comments at this time?
We have someone who already gave a public comment that's raising their hand.
Yeah, we just wanted to remind everyone that there's only one comment per speaker per item, but you're always welcome to submit a written comment once the comment period is open.
Thank you. If there's no further,
No further public comment on Zoom.
okay. We've had a request for a motion to approve the second modified text of the proposed modifications to employment regulations regarding automated decision systems for a 15-day comment period. If the council votes to approve this text, the comment period will be noticed, and the notice will include the opening and closing dates for public comments, as well as other information regarding the process for commenting on these regulations. Is there a motion to approve the second modified text and approve them for the next comment period?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
And I just wanted to, note very quickly before we move forward that the department would advise the council, which it sounds like they're doing, to consider just keeping the comment period at 15 days. And that's because in order to keep in schedule with the rulemaking, we have to complete this rulemaking in 1 year. We're not able to offer an extension as we did last time. So I'm sorry to interrupt the process, but I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you, Rachel. Didn't want to respond to that comment, but I think part of, if I could just take a step back, part of the reason why we gave the context of why we gave so much advance time and we started this, as we mentioned, in March of 2024. At this point, we don't have the ability, and I think we were really respectful of the fact that we had a lot of comment in the front end. And as you can see, there wasn't that much substantial changes in this 15-day comment period. So with that, I appreciate Rachel's additional context, but this has been going a very extensive time, and we really have included so much public comment because we know this is very important, but respectfully, we need to move forward. So again, we would recommend the council to allow us to publish this proposed regulations for 15-day comment period.
With those comments, there,
You might just
question
restate the
Do we have to
motion.
modify the motion in any way, or can we just proceed with this motion?
I think it's fine. You might just repeat it just for clarity. I apologize.
With those clarifications that were made for the record, we've had a request for a motion to approve the second modified text of the proposed modifications to employment regulations regarding automated decision systems for a 15-day comment period. If the council votes to approve this text, the comment period will be noticed, and the notice will include the opening and closing dates for public comments, as well as other information regarding the process for commenting on these regulations. Is there a motion to approve the second modified text and approve them for the next comment period?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Chair Garcia,
Aye.
Councilmember Glader,
Aye.
Councilmember Hong,
Aye.
Councilmember Walensky.
Aye.
The second modified text is approved to be noticed for a 15-day comment period. We'll now move on to the next item on the agenda. The next order of business is subcommittee updates. Do we have any subcommittee updates at this time?
I can give a few updates. So on behalf of the subcommittee that was reviewing the contractor non-discrimination and compliance regulations, that was primarily a cleanup based on legislative language. We did meet in the last quarter, and hopefully we will have those that packet ready for you at the next meeting. And that was related to section 11105. Secondly, the outreach subcommittee met with the Commission on the State of Hate in November. So Denny and I met with that commission to kind of discuss next steps as we decided kind of where are we going to go with the outreach committee. And 2 action items have come out of that. One is I'm working with the outreach staff at CRD on some of the publications regarding plain language and the other resources for the public. They are already, as you can imagine, there are a lot of documents that CRD provides for the public in many different ways, and they do have a schedule of updating for plain language. And so hopefully, perhaps at the next meeting, Rashida might be able to present on that as well. But as Director Kish started off with, information and education is of the utmost importance at this day and time. And so I just want to reiterate the work that the staff and the council does is so important, and that we're committed to make sure that that is accessible and that people's rights are protected at this time and continue to be. The second thing that we wanted to ask, the outreach committee is generally about what we want to do as a council. If we want to have another joint meeting with a joint hearing with the Commission on Hate, which I believe they are open to, then we need to have that kind of buy-in from this council. So we would need a motion to kind of give us that authority, and then we would continue to work with their commissioners and staff to see how we might be able to curate something with other identified goals. The great thing about the council, the Commission Against Hate, is they do publish a report. However, it's still several months out, but I think there are ways that we might be able to collaborate to streamline what we learned and how that's distributed and what we can do together.
Thank you, Commissioner Hong. Any other council member comments at this time?
I wasn't sure, did I need a motion, did I need to notice that motion for a vote for having the subcommittee work with the Commission on Hate?
I would think so, probably, so that may be something we would put on the next agenda since it wasn't
Okay.
today's agenda.
My thoughts as well. Any public comments?
None in person.
Not on Zoom.
None over email.
Then I will move on to the next item on the agenda. Further public comment. At this time, we will not hear public comments on items not on the agenda. Please note that the council may not discuss or act on any matter raised during the public comment section that is not included on this agenda, except regarding whether the matter commented upon shall be placed on the agenda in a future meeting. Do we have any public comments in person?
Yes.
Please step forward and state your name for the record.
Okay.
You have 3 minutes.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Kai On. I'm on behalf of myself. At the meeting at Berkeley, I talked about Sacramento DA office and police department provide me forgery investigation report and fake defendant information for my father's death. After that, I went to DA office to file an internal complaint. They refused to take my complaint. I asked them to arrest me so I can go to the court directly to show the evidence to the judge. Then the office asked a sheriff office to take my complaint. But right now, no result. Since last year, February, I have filed complaint to Attorney General's office 5 times and to Sacramento grand jury 2 times. But still no investigation was conducted. The 2 agencies keep not responding to my inquiry. As of today, I'm still don't know who killed my father, Woon Kang On. I also report the issue to Sacramento Superior Court presiding judge 2 times, although no responding. Today, I would file a complaint to the city, California Civil Rights Department about Office of Attorney General and Sacramento Superior Court grand jury. I appeal the council can provide help. Appeal the council can address the issue to Governor Mr. Newsom. I have no other source of help from the state. This kind of injustice situation should not be happened in California state capital. Some political power is using fake information, interfere a lot of licensed lawyer in state government, in Sacramento County government, and in Sacramento City government to block me to find out who killed my father. I appeal the council can help me to address the issue to the State Bar of California, so I can present this injustice situation to more professional, legal professional. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Do you have any remote public comments at this time?
And on Zoom.
None over email.
Since there are no further public comments at this time, we'll move on to the next item, which is adjournment. This concludes our meeting. This meeting is adjourned by approximately 10:41 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.